isn't cheap. You know, it's just like mining for Bitcoin. Like everybody's enthusiastic about the outcome of it, but nobody really considers what all goes into it in order to make it successful. And that's one of the things that people don't really consider when you get in there and start podcasting. All the equipment that you have to buy and all of the other stuff that you have to do behind the scenes in order to make the show what it is. Uh, but we are live 7 nights a week, and we do not let the sun rise without going live, but we don't always start on time. And as a result, we ask you guys to like and subscribe, but you should also hit those notification buttons so that when we do go live, that you guys can be here at the top of the hour if we do have any announcements, and you guys can be able to chime into the show as we go through the show with all of the information that we have to release for you guys throughout the show. Now, typically we try to give you at least an hour, sometimes more than that. And again, it's something different every day. Now, Sunday is going to be questions and comments, but we do have days like Monday where we're talking about the politics and how it influences our money. So different from political channels that specifically talk about politics, how much everybody hates the Democrats because even though they have Democratic lifestyles, they want to side with Republicans because there's Republicans in office right now. I don't know. Then you have it. They similarly talking about the behavior patterns of politicians. It's just like talking about the behavior patterns of the rich and famous. At the end of the day, you know, none of that impacts you directly. And how your money is spent, how your money is invested and saved, and how much money you have to give away for taxation and other stuff is directly impacted by the policies. Not a lot of people talk about that part. We don't talk about how much money we come out of pocket when a policy doesn't work in our favor, like for example the furloughed workers and stuff to that effect. But we do talk about the how the people don't get along when it's time to make a decision. We on Tuesdays on this show, we talk about ways to make more money, legal ways to make more money. Let's get started with that. And then after you've made the money, we talk about ways to budget the money. And then after you've budgeted the money, then we talk about ways to invest the money. And then after you've invested the money, we talk about ways to reinvest the money. Because ultimately the goal is to have a foundational position where you can, in fact, live off of your investment. That's the obligation. That's the objective, to live off of your investment. Okay. Now, Wednesdays we talk about different countries around the world that you can invest in and potentially live in. And depending on where you're coming from versus where you're going, it might be substantially cheaper than where you are. Then Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays, we give you guys information about how to improve your personal lives, how to improve your relationships, how to improve your networking, how to improve your position in your job. Just like yesterday, we were talking about the quiet overhaul, where you would start doing things differently than what you normally would do them, so that when you start presenting yourself to your company, you're presenting yourself to your company in a different light, in a different format, which ultimately has you observed in a different position, which could potentially open up a lot of doors for you. You are being watched when you're not looking at everybody else looking at you. You're being watched. And that's one of the things that you have to change, is how do you behave? Because as we discussed yesterday, those individuals who are like, nah, I'm going to do the bare minimum because this job isn't always going to be forever. The truth of the matter is that if you behave that way, you do not qualify for a promotion. You aren't going to be recommended for better jobs, because if you barely do this one, why would this employer recommend you to somebody else outside of getting you off of their salary? If this is the career choice that you're trying to go into and you're trying to move up a corporate ladder, how are you going to work with the competitor? Especially in some contracts require you to have an NDA, where you don't, an NDA and a non-competition clause, where you legally can't go to the work with the competitor. And you have to think about, how are you going to go work with the competitor if you can work with a competitor under the ideology that the current employer doesn't like you because you don't perform. So we give you guys a lot of things to think about because the decisions that you make in the here and now negatively impact your future. The decisions that you made in the past is impacting your present. You have to do what you know is right. In most situations, stand up for what you believe in and stand by that by any means necessary. But the most primary rule that you must have is that you accept the consequences of your actions before you perform those actions. Because when this situation doesn't go the way you wanted it to go, it is the outcome of your decisions. And that's something that you have to remember. No matter whether you vote Republican or Democrat, whether you vote yes or no, whether you decide to take action or decide to not take action, whether you decide to stay or decide to leave, whatever decision that you make, the outcome of that decision is what you have to live with. So if you're thinking about the outcome of this decision and you are thinking after this resolves itself, and resolving itself can take a lot of time, after you think about it, when this resolves itself, what kind of person am I going to be and what kind of situation am I going to be in? While all of this stuff has to be rationalized in a split second, your decision, whatever it is going to stay with you for the rest of your life, however long that may be. So one of the things I've been trying to encourage you guys to do on the show is to start by getting yourselves a better plan. That's like the first step. You guys have to first get your 20-year plan together. Where do you want to see yourself when you're done doing whatever it is that you're trying to do? And set markers on that. Goals, 6-month goals, 3-month goals, 1-month goals, 1-year goals, 5-year goals, 10-year goals. Update them frequently. Your end goal is your 20-year goal, but sub-level achievements, that's what you're trying to get into. And you want to see exactly how much of that can you navigate. And if you can navigate enough, you will find yourself in the right place at the right time, getting the right stuff done. Now, it's not easy. It is by far not easy. But it can be. It can be second nature to you. You might not make the multi-billion-dollar position that anybody would hope to have fall in their lap from a free scratch off. But you could put yourself in a position where you might make yourself $250,000 worth of assets that you can live off of for the rest of your life, where your $97,000 or $100,000 a year worth of money that's coming back off your $500,000 investment is enough to pay for the standard of living that you have without you having to work. You don't have to be a millionaire. If you're making 20% of $500,000, that's a good $200,000. Do you need $1 million? I mean, if you're making 10% of $500,000, that's $50,000. You know what I mean? And a lot of y'all are working every day of the week to maintain a $55,000 a year lifestyle on a $45,000 to $50,000 a year salary. So couldn't you put away $500,000 at about 15% interest before taxes, 11% interest after taxes, where you have $55,000 a year coming from your investments, where even after taxes is paid, your standard of living is covered and you don't have to go to work every day. Now you can take time out of your day to start up that business, to do a little side hobby, to get yourself set up in a position where you don't have to work. If money makes money for you, that's when you start being successful. That's when you can start traveling the world, you know? But it requires you to figure out where you want to be at in life. Until you figure that part out, you know, that's the problem that you have to navigate through. So today we're supposed to be dealing with some questions and comments from the fans, and that's part of the reason why we had that hiccup at the beginning of the show. The questions and comments from the fans is a segment that we do once a week where any appropriately structured questions come in that typically they're looking for some kind of advice based on the information. I try my best to give you guys the best response that will help you guys be the most successful. Now, one of the things that I consider is, since you guys are watching from Twitter as well as Twitch on the YouTube channel, is that if you guys do chime in, you do have the opportunity to come onto the show if I can verify in the green room that you're over the age of 18, and hopefully come on the show and be positive and appropriate. Typically, the people that troll the show, especially adults, don't want to be seen or heard, but there's always that individual. So Michael's lurking in the background in the comment section. If you guys ended up on the show and the comments aren't really readily appropriate, you're likely to be removed from the show, probably even blocked from the show. But if you have your comments reasonably appropriate, we can address the topics at hand and then have a good day. Now, while this and that does talk about this, that, and everything in between, and as a result, people start asking off the wall questions. I don't know everything about everything. I know enough about enough to get me by my day to day, but I also know enough about all of the stuff that we talk about on the show over the past 3 years to give you guys enough information for you to be successful in your own lives. So I ask, tune your questions to your own personal success. That way, when you ask, my response will make you a better person. Coming and asking me about the Epstein list or, Diddy's trial, that stuff doesn't benefit you. I mean, unless you want Diddy to be free so that you can go back to your Diddy parties. But if your main focus is about how somebody else is living their life and your main focus is not how to live your own life, that's probably one of the first things you need to change in your life. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get things started for tonight's show.
My girlfriend confessed to talking to another guy for the last 2 months and cheating on me. She then said she cut all ties with him, but then, not even 2 days later, she is playing games and talking to him as if nothing happened. How do I navigate this situation? So my girlfriend confessed me that while we are dating, she met this guy and became what I thought was good friends with him. However, it turned out that she had started dating him as well. This led to her disconnecting from me, while I still tried to show my love for her, since I thought that she just didn't realize how much I cared about her. 2 days ago, she tells me everything, and then tells me that she will cut off all communication with him and just focus on me. Then today, after I get home from work, I see her streaming and playing with the same guy as if nothing happened. It just hurt and made me angry to see that she is blatantly disrespecting me. She then tells me that if the roles were switched, then she would be okay with me talking to the person I cheated on her with. This whole situation has got me so fucked up in the head, and I need some advice on what to do, because I do want to still be with her, but I'm tired of being hurt in every relationship I'm in.
Well, first and foremost, buddy, in order for you to stop being hurt in every relationship that you're in, you have to stop emotionally investing yourself in people that don't value you. That's the first step. The dynamic here is she completely removed herself out of this relationship with you so that she can have a full-on relationship with somebody else. The relationship was dead in that moment. You stuck around waiting for her to start showing up in the relationship. And when whatever they had going on phased out, she came back to you, her safety net, and continued where y'all left off, where she's still involved with this other guy, but she still has you as the safety net. That's using you, bro. She's going to make the excuse that, oh, if you were doing the same thing to her, that she wouldn't mind. If you had an open relationship where y'all discussed this before y'all started becoming serious, and you agreed that regardless of what happens, that if one of you has a second person, that it's all right, as long as you don't diminish the quantity of attention that you're paying to the primary person, the first person. Then and only then is this type of behavior acceptable. If you guys have had a discussion where your behavior is to be exclusive to her, she must be exclusive to you. And if she's not doing that, that is breaking the unspoken vows of monogamy. Once that happens, she's gone. And not to mention, she's paying more attention to somebody you didn't even know existed. That's not for you. Okay. And while she says, oh, yeah, she wouldn't mind it, that's not true. She's saying that because you don't have anybody else. How you doing, Slate? And since she knows that you don't have anybody else, she can make the hypothetical. But women are far more territorial than men, truth be told. Outside of countries like Dubai, where women are culturally taught to share a husband, women are far more territorial, especially in Western culture. And they're not going to share you with another woman. The women that are dating the rich men, where after they get pregnant for the rich man, they can get the child support for 18 years, where this man is paying a salary to the woman far above what she would have made going to work, so she can live that expensive life without having to do anything other than keep the child alive. Those women don't complain about the man coming and going, literally, because at the end of the day, they're not staying in a relationship with this guy. They probably even slept with him because he was a celebrity. And now that they've got a child for him and he's paying the child support for the kid, the money that they're getting from the kid makes up for the fact that they slept with the celebrity. And now the responsibility for taking care of the kid is just fine. But normal individuals who work paycheck to paycheck and barely got enough money to pay for the house that they live in does not have enough money to pay for 2, 3, 5 households. And when they start dividing their money between households and the wife has to pick up the financial slack, she's not going to be okay with that. So at the end of the day, when she tells you that it's okay if you cheat on her because she's still actively cheating on you, it's not okay. It's not okay. But if you're willing to stay in that type of relationship, she's going to keep cheating on you with somebody else. But whatever she's getting from you and whatever she's getting from the other guy, she doesn't want to lose either one of those things. And that's why she's trying to keep the both of you together. But social media, internet, terrible situation, because she can stay connected online with her other boyfriend, where, honest to God, bro, she's not showing you at least back in the day before the internet, we had to leave. Say we got a long business trip, going to visit family and go and sneak off and go do. They can literally be on the headset, on the video game, talking to the person they cheating on you with while you in the other room making dinner. It's that serious these days. And some folks got no chill. Some folks will literally be cheating right in front of your face, because what are you going to do? What are you going to do? If you don't complain about it, they're not going to stop. If you complain about it, they're going to make it sound like it's your fault. So my advice to you, brother, is either if it's your place, put her out. If it's her place, get your stuff and you get out. But either way it goes, if she's not respecting who you are and you're in this for a one-on-one exclusive monogamy relationship, let it go. Just let it go. It's not worth it. That's where the emotional pain comes from. The emotional pain comes from diving in too deep too fast, not knowing what you're getting yourself into, not finding out if this person values your interests or not, and then begging and pleading for her to stay in your life with unconditional surrender tactics, where you are giving up all of your values, all of your non-negotiable expectations, and then you're hurting because you're not happy with what you submitted to, and you don't know how to fix it without setting demands that the other person will not agree to. You can't do that. Once you surrender to another country, bro, you're conquered. It is what it is. And if she's gonna benefit off of you being conquered and have another guy on the side, bro, she gonna run that route. And truth be told, I can't really fault her for it, because you as a man should have the level of self-pride to say, I'm not going to be treated like this. And until you do, you will forever be in the type of relationships where you're being mistreated. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next one.
My boyfriend won't let me play video games with voice chat. He says that he doesn't want me to talk to other people. Is that toxic of him? My boyfriend and I had an argument the other day. We play together all the time, and a few days ago, I decided to download Arc Ridders, and he got really mad because he said that I was playing without him. When we met, I told him that I like to play video games, and he will ask me sometimes if I play with other people, and I will always say no because I don't enjoy voice chat. One of these days, I downloaded Arc Riders, which you can voice chat with other players, and when I explained to him what the game was about, he told me that he didn't want me to play that game because he doesn't want me to use voice chat or talk to other players.
Well, yeah, he's right. You play the video game. You don't use voice chat when you play the game. And all of a sudden, you have found the motivation to start playing a video game and using the voice chat. That is a switch up of behavior patterns. Whoever you trying to talk to on this game, which is the reason why you playing this game, is the reason why he don't want you on that game using the voice chat. Now, you can play the game if you want to, but you shouldn't be utilizing the voice chat on the game. Truth, you like to play games. If you weren't playing games with voice chat before, why start now? And then when you think about the type of dialogue that is on a video game, not necessarily reasonably appropriate. The female in the group is going to be flirted with the other guys in the group. And if she's going to flirt back, she's going to be in a situation where you're being heavily tempted throughout your gaming experience, 2 to 5 hours of gaming. And it doesn't end well, because either you're going to stay loyal and report these guys for excessively flirting with you during a game, or you're going to play through it when you could just not have the headphones on. I know how guys talk online when there's a female present, worse than sailors on short leave. So at the end of the day, for the sake of what we would hope to be the purity of your ears, we would not want our girl on the game where people hear her voice and then start making inappropriate comments to her. Likewise, we would not want her to be on the game interacting with other people in an inappropriate fashion, where we can guarantee that other men will try to interact with her in a negative fashion. So in that dynamic, he says, don't do it. Don't do it. Nothing wrong with him telling you to not do something you used to not do anyway. Okay? It's not just for the sake of your own safety. It's for the sake of the loyalty of the relationship. And you have to set your own standards. Your standards as to how you're going to represent your loyalty to your relationship has to be defined. early on in the relationship because it takes practice. When you guys are single, you're trying to figure things out. As you guys start coming together, um, the issue that you have here is that you're going to have to show that you're in a relationship, basically, long and short. And pretending like we're just friends, that's not respecting a relationship. Somebody I know, that's not respecting the relationship. It's just somebody I stay with, that's not respecting the relationship. So you have to identify what is appropriate behavior when you're in a relationship. And then once you identify that, you have to perform that on a regular basis. And having communication with people. He said I was about to say that too. having 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 a lot of people on your voice chat and everything like that while you're talking on the thing, and with guys that are going to be flirting with you and stuff on the game, that's not properly representing your relationship. That is so, because as soon as you say, oh well, I have a boyfriend, that's the lie that all girls tell, so nobody's going to believe that. And every man on the room is going to try to jump up and say, what's your man got to do with me? And I can replace it. I could do better than him, knowing damn well they can't, because if they own the game with you right now, whatever female would have been in their house is not getting any attention from them because they talking to you. So at the end of the day, no, they can't do no better than the gamer boyfriend that you already got. But if you valued your gamer boyfriend, you would not be on the game with the headset because he told you don't do it. All right, let's go ahead and check in with the next one.
I saw texts between my boyfriend and a girl he went to school with and think I'm overreacting. Last night I was having dinner with my BF and as a joke with him, was scrolling through his DMs. I saw the last message he had sent a girl was, guess I'll have to drive down to, name of the city then. I clicked it and wasn't able to read much before he took his phone and said he was being bad last week. His reaction completely threw me off, because obviously there wasn't anything he wouldn't have snatched the phone. He admitted they were being a bit flirty, but the messages consisted of her reaching out and saying that, now that he looks good, and she moved down here they should meet up. He said, you don't look bad yourself, let's meet up. And then she said where she lived and he said, guess I'll have to drive down then. They haven't spoken again and I did not see any other messages with other girls. Am I insane for wanting to break up over this?
Yes. Yes, you are. No woman's going to agree with that. They're going to be like, no, hell no. You're not insane. You should break up with him. He ain't shit. But hold on, let's think about this. Y'all justified negative behavior with the ha, just joking, just playing. Most women do not want a man going through their stuff. Most women do not want a man scrolling through their DMs. When you decided you was going to scroll through his DMs, you decided you was trying to find fault in your man to break up with him. If you didn't find anything, okay. But if you found something, you were going to use that as the reason why. That's the reason why you're going to break up. But you wanted to break up when you started going through his phone, when you started going through his messages, because a woman that trusts her man ain't going through his DMs. She's not going through his Google history. She's not searching anything. She's not looking up nothing. She's not going through your text message history on your cell phone. If he said, Michael said, hopefully she's over 18 if you're driving down there. If she's not, the fact is that his relationship is dead when his girlfriend starts going through his phone behind his back. Now, if he wanted her to go into his phone and get something specific, and she was looking in the wrong spot where he told her to go to the left and she went to the right, not following instructions, she's still not supposed to be coming out, oh, well, I found this. You told me I could go on your phone. No. Because a woman will do some stupid stuff like, oh, let me take a picture of myself with your phone. It has a better camera. I'm going to send it to myself. She'll take the picture. Then she'll go through all your text messages so that she can send herself the picture. And if she find a text message she wants to start some trouble about, what's this? And it's downhill from there. The relationship was already over when she asked to borrow your phone. I'm gonna be real with you. I got a phone, and then I got another phone. You want to use a specific phone, you're looking for trouble. If you just need a phone, I can just hand you the one I want you to use. And then there's 2 more phones in here. And if you don't like the fact that I didn't give you the phone that you wanted to have, then no, you didn't, because if you would have, it would have popped up on the screen. But I appreciate you texting the words, though. Exactly. Burner phones. Well, they're not necessarily burner phones. They're business phones, because burner phones will be like flip phones, little $50 phones. These are like $1,500 phones. They're not burner phones. They're not something I'm gonna throw away. They're not something I'm gonna throw away and just, let it be. But the idea is, you're supposed to have that mutual respect for your partner. Back in the day, we had what was called the little black book. And in that little black book, we have numbers, if not names and numbers, of all the people we really want to get in contact with. Now, if your number is in that little black book, I'm likely going to reach out to you, or I've at least tried to reach out to you before. These days, we don't have a little black book. We have a cell phone that can hold 2 terabytes of data, that can hold 30 years worth of contact information, 30 years worth of communication, 30 years worth of emails. And at the end of the day, with the very limited effort that we put into purging our communication logs, we find ourselves in a position where the most private part of our life, which is our cell phone, first thing taken by the police as evidence, because if they really want to know where you've been and who you've been with, go through your phone. See, I'm smart. I'm not the smartest person in the world. I'm just smart enough to know that if I'm about to go do something that I'm not supposed to do, the phone I'm going to take is the phone that usually don't go nowhere. That way. Shit. I don't know. You ain't going to be able to reach out to me because I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm going out of the country. All right. Well, I'm going to take the phone that has an area code in the country I'm going to. That's the phone I'm going to use when I'm over there. So when they track the phones that I normally use, those phones never left the country. Weird. That says all of our girlfriends' numbers with ratings. I remember that, Michael. 1 star, 5 star. Before they had the cucumber and the waterfall scenario. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But never will we ever, in modern times, voluntarily put ourselves in a situation to have conflict with our girlfriend. If a man is going to give you full transparency, it comes at a cost. Full transparency comes at the cost of no judgment, no resentment, and no retaliation for whatever you find. You shouldn't find anything. But if you're looking and you find something, no judgment, no retaliation, and no resentment. So you found his comments to somebody else on his phone when your ass wasn't supposed to be on there, forget it ever happened. Because otherwise, if you start looking for drama on that man's phone, you might well break up with him before you start going through the phone, because it ain't gonna work out. You have breached the trust. I know a lot of women are gonna say, "Oh no, he was the one who breached the trust because he went and did something he had no business doing." No, you breached the trust in the relationship from your end by searching for trouble. He breached the trust from his end by giving you something to find. So since both halves have been broken, that relationship is done. Is it a phone? Is an electronic ankle bracelet that follows you everywhere. It follows you most places. Because again, I'll leave mine in the
I
car
think
somewhere.
my 29F boyfriend 30M just soft launched our breakup. I have been in a relationship for 4 years, and although it has not been easy, we have always agreed that we would rather work through problems than separate. Well, today my boyfriend came home from work and informed me that he would not be able to celebrate my birthday, Friday, or Christmas this year due to him being irresponsible despite him telling me he had the day planned for us last week. I said okay, that's life. He then immediately brings up my aunt offering to support me and my 2 children while I go to law school. He says, it doesn't sound like I was included in that offer and you should put you and your kids first. Basically making up a scenario up in his head that my aunt's offer was contingent on us separating. My family loves him and I don't think there's a secret plot to break us up. It kind of just sounds like he wants to break up to me. The comment also bothered me because despite him not being my children's father, he has been referring to them as ours since year 2.
Okay. Well, you want to go to law school, and somebody else is going to support you to do it. Here's the thing that you're not thinking about. He just messed up something. He didn't tell you what he messed up. Whatever he messed up, probably going to negatively impact your ability to go to law school. He might have soft launched your breakup because he knows once you find out how bad he screwed up, you're probably going to leave anyway. In that scenario, you have to recognize that if you're going to stay with him and try to go to law school, you have to negotiate things with him and try to see if you can navigate through his problem so that he has no reason to feel this way outside of not wanting to be in a relationship with you just because of who you are. But if it's something that he did and his guilt and resentment in himself is causing him to behave this way, then in and of itself, you would have to find out what it is. No judgment, no resentment, no retaliation, and aid him through it so that y'all can stay together. But if that's not going to be the scenario, if you find out what it is, and then you're going to take off on him the way he was expecting you to take off on him, and then you're going to break up with him the way he was expecting you to break up with him. He said he got into some trouble. He done messed up. I'm not going to see you for your birthday. I'm not going to see you for Christmas. You're go live with your aunt. Y'all see that in the movies. You know, somebody that did something that they ain't supposed to do. They probably gonna go to jail. Somebody's gonna get hurt. Somebody's coming after them. Just go with the rest of the family. I'm gonna take care of this and I'm gonna catch up with you. And you know they not gonna catch up. You know that they're about to fight to the death or go to jail. But they lying to the rest of the family like, oh, it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna stall for time. That martyr position, you already know they don't plan on coming back. Like I said, your aunt wants to straighten you out. Well, if she's in a position where her aunt is using this gift of law school as a control tactic, then if the man wants the best for her to go to law school and he cannot get the job that he wanted to get so that he could provide for her to go to law school, he might think that it is in her best interest to go to law school. So he's going to allow her aunt to fuel her ability to go to law school. And while they are okay with him to a degree, she can do whatever she wants. She's a young adult, but at the same time, if somebody else is paying 50 to 75 grand for your education, they're probably going to want to have a say as to who's distracting you from your test scores. See what I'm saying? People use money and gifts as control tactics to manipulate people. Doesn't matter how rich you are or how rich you're not. What matters is that if somebody else wants a final say in what you got going on in your life when you are old enough and mature enough to make your own decision, they will leverage your situation. They will invest in your situation so that they can leverage the investment in your situation so that they can still have dictatorship over your life as a young adult. Me, myself, I wouldn't even get involved with that. I would have to figure out another way. And if I can't figure out another way, that's leaning on family so that family can control what I do. That's just one thing I'm not going to do. I would do without before being strung up in a situation where somebody else has more control over my situation just because they invested in my narrative. I would not take an angel investor's money if they're taking control shares of my company. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. All right, let's go ahead and step into the next one.
I am in a trauma bond with my girlfriend. I made a post a little bit ago, and my eyes have been opened about my relationship. From outside perspectives, the relationship is a trauma bond. We've been together for 4-ish years. What I thought were normal ups and downs of relationships were actually the root of a trauma bond becoming. The UPS would be love bombing, as people call it, saying she loves me, saying she wants me to be her future, giving me more gifts than I thought I'd get for birthdays, saying she doesn't want to lose me, saying she wants to build a life with me, etc. The downs would be her narcissistic tendencies. She'd say things like, "You won't find anyone better than me. No one will spoil you as much as I do. You are my future, why would you want to leave?" Things like that. When she said those things, it was because we were having arguments and or I threatened to break up. I've felt so drained from her when these downs happen, but I can't get myself to leave her because I still love her and know she loves me. I'm being told love isn't enough by outside perspectives, you guys. She has never been physically violent or say she wants to be violent, but the narcissism is not okay, right? It's a form of abuse, or no? Granted, I have my own flaws that need to be worked on, but I'm not a narcissistic, indirectly or not. I'm scared to leave because, again, we love each other. There was a time when I threatened to break up and she, like I said those things like how I won't ever find someone like her. Kept trying to make me feel guilty with any sentence she said, and it worked. I feel so stuck, and I just know I'm not the only one feeling this way in a relationship, and I need help. How do I proceed with this relationship?
You don't, because both of y'all narcissistic. How you threatening to leave and not leave? First of all, if you're in a relationship that's supposed to be a loving relationship, there is never supposed to be any threatening for any reason. You shouldn't threaten to kick somebody's ass. You shouldn't threaten to leave. You shouldn't threaten to throw them out. While you should never kick their ass, the other two scenarios should just happen. And it's not something that you're going to back down on. If it is time for them to go, you are going to remove them from your life. If it's time for you to go because they have primary control of the estate, you get your stuff and you get out. But you don't threaten to leave. In a sense, it's a cry for help, because if you believe that you're not being heard by your partner, threatening to walk out the door will get their attention. But y'all not working out y'all issues, whatever y'all issues are. You're saying that the other person is narcissistic because you're not willing to admit your errors in the relationship. But you recognize that you are doing the push and pull scenario, because the push is threatening to break up. The pull is taking the person back in and telling them how much you love them and getting them gifts and making up. And this is the wasteful money spending tactics that we talk about on a regular basis, where you end up losing more money towards all of these relationship fights. And that's not helping, because the trauma bond is not you two fighting and getting back together. The trauma bond is the rebound, where y'all meshed together in the first place because y'all were in a bad spot from the last relationship. And then y'all keep re-traumatizing yourselves by breaking up and getting back together. And because you guys both know that you're always going to be with one another, regardless of what you say and how you do it, you guys will break up and get back together, behave worse the next time, break up, get back together, behave worse again. And you're going to keep doing that until one of y'all get tired of the bullshit and leave. But if you change the way you treat one another and prioritize each other, then it is more likely that you won't have these fights. Then you won't have a reason to threaten to leave, and she won't have a reason to beg you to stay. But she's not doing a push-pull method. She's begging you to stay, and you're like, fuck this shit, I'm out, because you're not happy with what's going on. but you're not articulating what the damn problem is. So you got to fix that part. Let's go ahead and check and see what the next one is. We got
I met my girlfriend on Instagram in June on an incoming freshman Instagram bio Insta page for our college, and after talking for a few weeks, we saw each other in person. We really got along, and we love doing stuff together. The thing is that thinking about it, we do not have much in common since she was homeschooled and very politically minded due to her family, while I went to public school and want to go into pre-med. We do not have many common hobbies besides spending time together. Is this good? Is it good that I do not care about all this? Being with her has been the happiest I have ever been, and it's been the same for her. She is such a light in my life now, and I just enjoy doing anything with her. We got to college and tried to make friends but failed TBH, so now we primarily just hang out with each other. We have our hometown friends though. Is this cooked? Maybe I should have tried harder, but I will not.
Let's see before we go into the next one, because that's a whole nother one. Back up a little bit. So y'all got each other in high school, and that's gonna be good. Y'all are doing a good job with that. You don't have to have the same hobbies. You guys don't have to have the same interests. You guys don't have to chase the same side hobbies and stuff. You're valuing her for her presence, and she's valuing you for your presence, and what you do for her while you're in her presence, and what she does for you while she's in your presence. That's where you guys start. Y'all are going to have your own separate hobbies, and that's going to be perfectly fine. Outside of those individual hobbies that defines who you are as an individual, y'all will then add shared hobbies together throughout your relationship. So just because y'all have nothing in common doesn't mean that y'all aren't good for each other. What that means is that there's enough difference between you where this shouldn't get boring. But building common ground between you is highly important. So your goal isn't to find somebody that has all the same likes and dislikes that you do. But that's what a lot of people try to do. A lot of people try to make it seem like we're 100% compatible because we have the same views, we have the same interests, we have the same perspectives. But the fact is that if I don't like this movie and you don't like this movie, we're not watching this movie. If I don't like this activity and you don't like this activity, we're not performing this activity. If I didn't know anything about it, you don't know anything about it, we're not trying to look into it. Now, if you're bored because you don't have any ideas as to what to do, guess what? If we both think alike, I'm bored too because I can't think of anything else to do. If we're different, I'm not doing this because I like it. I'm doing this because you like it. If we're different, you're not here because you want to be here. You're here because I want to be here. If we're different, one of us can be bored right now and the other one can come up with an idea. Two introverted people are less likely to get out of the house. Two extroverted people are less likely to stay indoors. But one introverted person will get an extroverted person motivated to go out. And an extroverted person can have an introverted person convince them to stay home sometimes. You find balance by finding somebody that is the polar opposite of you. But the polar opposite will lead to arguments and it will lead to disagreements. But you have to navigate through them. The more y'all are not the same, the more y'all have to negotiate. The more that you're the same, the more that you have to be okay with vanilla, with boring, with no adventure, because at the end of the day, y'all have the same thought process, the same behavior patterns, the same expectations. Well, yeah, somebody that's the same issue, you can trust them to say and do the exact same things that you're willing to say and do in the same situation, which builds a stronger level of loyalty because I know my partner wouldn't cheat. We think alike. And I wouldn't cheat in that situation, so I expect them not to do the same. But guess what? People will surprise you. No matter how much y'all think y'all know each other, you'll come to find out they're not who you thought they were. Because it's an assumption. Now, let's go ahead and slide into the next one.
Town friends though. Is this cooked? Maybe I should have tried harder, but I will not lie, being with her did reduce some time I could have used to make friends. I still talk with people, it's not like I do not talk, it's just that I don't really hang out with anybody while I am at college except for my girlfriend. Is it bad that I do not really care? My parents are starting to imply that she has been a waste of time for me since I don't have the amount of friends they think I would have, but I do not think that way at all. I'm happy but nervous at the same time that maybe what I'm doing is unhealthy. I don't know, their words are making me feel weird.
I have been with my
Okay, hold on. So, is this cooked? No. The relationship isn't cooked. You're just overly obsessed with this person because they're new in your life. You're not out there socializing with other people because you want every waking moment to be around this person. That's not healthy. What you want to do is you want to put a lot more effort into self-identifying away from her. That way you will then be able to go back to her and share some of your life experiences. One of the things that you'll come to find when you spend a large number of years with the same person, you run out of stuff to do, and you run out of things to talk about, and y'all end up just existing in the same place at the same time. While that's not bad, you're in college, implying you're between 18 and 25. You don't want to be in a relationship in your early 20s that you plan to keep until you're in your late 70s and think that she being the only thing you got in your world is the only thing that's going to satisfy you for 55 years. It's not going to happen. Affairs will come out of that type of relationship. You have to establish a foundation of self-preservation that is not fueled by any type of deception or temptation. So, yeah, so it's not cooked. It's something that you can work on. It's just, you have to get yourself together while you're with her. Let's go ahead and see what the other gentleman has to say.
girlfriend for 6 years, and recently I found out she met up in person with her ex. Don't even know where to start. I'm completely destroyed. My girlfriend and I have been together for 6 years. We have a daughter together, and we just moved into our forever home, the life I thought we were building together. And now I've found out something that has completely broken me inside. I discovered messages between her and her ex, and I also found out that they actually met in person before we moved into her home. She doesn't know I know, and I feel like I'm dying inside, feeling sick, trying to act normal, and it's impossible. The messages weren't innocent. They weren't friendly. They were like soulmates saying a final goodbye. He told her things like she'll always be loved, that he'll never forget her, that their love lasted a lifetime, that he still feels everything he used to feel. She responded in ways that didn't shut it down. She emotionally connected with it. She didn't tell me. She didn't stop it. He even talked about having her perfume scent on him. Some messages were sexual. She asked ChatGPT how to word messages about still feeling something for him, about reconnecting, about what their love meant. She actively engaged with it. I feel completely betrayed. This is more than a lapse in judgment. This is emotional cheating. And the worst part? She still chose to move forward with me. We've got a daughter. We've got a forever home. Would she have done that if she didn't still have feelings for me? Or was it just the comfort of our life together while she still carried this bond with her ex? I can't stop shaking. I can't stop thinking about it. I feel sick, numb, heartbroken, angry, and completely lost. How do you even act normal after finding out the person you love has been emotionally intimate and planning messages to someone else, hiding meetings, keeping emotional secrets? How do you recover from something like this? Can you even recover from it? Or is this the end, and I'm just holding on to something that's already over? I feel like I'm drowning and I don't know what to do. If anyone has been through something like this, please tell me. How do you decide whether to stay or leave when trust has been shattered so completely?
All right. So, first off, you found the messages, which means your ass was up there snooping, and you shouldn't have found the messages. So I'm going to tell you the same thing I told the females when they were snooping. You gonna have to let that shit go. No judgment, no resentment, no retaliation because you wasn't supposed to be in there being nosy. Secondly, she was using Chat GTP, bro. She didn't give a shit about what this man was saying. She had to use an algorithm to find the nice words to feed this guy bullshit so that she could give him the closure that he needed so that she could move on with her life. She met up with this dude because this is her ex. He won't let the last relationship go. She's got a husband and kids. Y'all done bought a home together. But women have this thing, more so than men, that closure is needed in order to move on. Her ability to know that that guy is not what she wanted when she left comes from the ability to get closure by meeting him one more time and seeing he hasn't changed. He hasn't shown any type of improvement. He's still the same guy. You know, the stuff that he talks about, the things that he touches base on, yeah, he thinks that, oh, that's how I show that I still care. But that also shows that you're the same jackass that I broke up with. So, she's reaffirming that she made the right choice. Now, is it okay that she's not communicating this with you? Of course not. But is it okay that you found out about it without her knowing? Of course not. So likewise, she chose to move things forward with you. Leave it at that. Yeah, you know. You will always know. The same as if you were in a relationship with a woman where y'all been together for 7 years and you find out that the first child isn't yours and the child is 8. You thought the child was just a premature 7. That ain't yours. You never thought about doing the math. All the rest of them is yours. But you know that early on, that first one ain't yours. But she led you to believe that it was. What do? Do you treat the children bad? Do you split up the household? Or do you just let it go? Some people would say that the betrayal is enough to destroy the whole family. Some would say, for the sake of the children, I'm not going to rock this boat, but I don't want to have nothing else to do with you outside of this. Some have the capacity to let it go. Because depending on the circumstances, if you wasn't there the way you were supposed to be there, that contributed to the reason why this extra kid ain't yours. It's not an individual effort, it's a group effort. One person has to make the choice, but the choice comes from a plethora of information from a large number of locations and a large number of experiences that leads a person to make that decision. And I might as well go ahead and see what this is about. But not every person cheats. And not every person that cheats gets a divorce. Not every person that cheats leaves their girlfriend or their boyfriend. But most relationships that are over 10 or 20 years are going to have some type of either emotional infidelity or physical affairs. We just have to put more effort into trying not to allow that to happen. All right, let's go ahead and touch base with the next one.
Hi, I'm a freshly 17-year-old who's been struggling. I'm very smart emotionally, but school has never been my thing. Skipping class, yet the important ones I got fairly decent in, 85 to 93, and my rule for myself was to never let myself fail a class. Last June, in 11th grade, I essentially didn't go to school for a month and a half consecutively. I don't know how to explain it. I just wanted to lay in bed. My anxiety was acting up too. I failed math. I plan to redo it online. Now, senior year, the same pattern emerged. I haven't been to school consistently since school started. My counselor thinks I'm depressed. Doctor's appointment booked for late in OV. It's hard to explain, but I don't necessarily have a good reason as to why I'm not going. I just feel like shit. I also have problems with self-image and body issues. Teenage girls, am I right? And also don't have the most stable friends. I had a good friend, but the absence at school has strained our friendship, and it's not super easy to explain to her what's going on. Lack of understanding.
which is adding onto the anxiety associated with school. To everyone except my mom, I've pretty much pretended everything is going well, lying about doing uni applications and stuff. I also started smoking weed. My first time I got high I was 14, and it's been probably twice a year since. Until this summer, I got a cart and started getting high almost every other day for the last half of August. I was working 9 to 5 in the summer, so after work, my cart eventually died, so I stopped, but then I got a pack of edibles. I limit myself, taking them only when I can feel at peace in the comfort of my room. I don't smoke weed in the mornings, try to leave it after 5 p.m., but it makes me feel better. Less freakish. I feel like normal old me. It doesn't help that I feel like I'm faking what I'm going through. I don't think I'm depressed, like I don't have depression. Just it. I'm wondering, is the weed ruining my already fragile brain? Am I
Yes.
ruining my life forever? I've never
Yes.
wanted to go to a great university, but a college would be nice. My school is semester system, so I have English as my main class. Is it late to try and lock in and catch up and take math online and still graduate? I think I can do it. I'm just consumed by anxiety and want to lay in bed and rot. I've been trying to do things to get better. Eating healthier instead of door dashing, I've gained weight. Got new clothes, new shoes.
Bruh. Okay. You said 11th grade. What the hell is you doing riding around in your mama and them car smoking weed? That's not even recommended as grown folks, at least not in the United States, because your ass goes straight to jail doing that shit. But you are not old enough to buy cigarettes and you're buying weed. Now, not an objector to weed. I am an objector to weed with children, but I am an objector to you with your, we're going to call it depressional phase, which is a side effect of marijuana use. So here's the thing. You got to cut the weed out. You got to find another outlet. You got to get you some exercise. Maybe do some yoga, some Pilates. You're claiming that you want to do something with your future, but you're presently not applying yourself to your future. You're working a lot and then you're staying at home in bed, probably coming down from the really nice high you got from really strange colors on the little leaf that you put into the piece of paper and got stoned with. You are not really dealing with as much depression as you're dealing with the chemical imbalance from the drug addiction. Probably should go to rehab. I can't fix too many issues that you have going on here because you underliningly don't know why you are having these moods where 3 months out of the year you don't want to be productive and you're not investing in professional help, but you are investing in a professional pharmacist, street pharmacist. So priorities are not in the right spot. Look, Michael, you say you're not old enough to drink, but you're old enough to go to war. She ain't old enough to drink, but she old enough to get stoned out of her mind. She's trying to get Shaggy and Scooby-Doo stoned out of her mind. And she's over here talking about how she's going to hit the books and she's going to make the grades. Bro, if you are not at school, you're not at school. You're not doing homeschool, and then your friends haven't seen you for 3 months. You're flaking. You're not answering the phone. You're not going and hanging out with them outside of school. You're just not going nowhere. You fall off the map for 3 months out the year. So you're a 9-month-a-year friend. Them friends is going to find more consistent friends because y'all young. What, 11th grade? That puts you at like 16, 17 years old. And you out there doing it big like you 20, 21. Driving your own car, going to and from work stuff. You're probably going to be a blue-collar worker. You're probably going to just make enough money to get by. And then you're going to drink and smoke and do all kinds of other drugs to bypass how you're feeling, whatever you're feeling, and not actually put forth the effort to get the help that you need. And that is going to cause you to stay in this rut. 20 years from now, you're going to decide that you should get yourself out of this rut. I don't know how many kids are going to come out of this scenario, but after that, then you're going to start trying to do a little bit better. Probably the first kid might compel you to do better, but the third and the fourth, if you haven't changed, you're going to remain the same. Because typically, even though it is not an appropriate thing to do, adults typically only make positive changes when there's children involved, And they only make positive changes when there's a death involved. We don't make positive change when positive stuff happens around us. Catastrophic failure has to happen. And yes, childbirth is catastrophic failure because you went from only having to think for yourself to having to think for something that can't survive on its own. That is catastrophic failure. That is drastic and dramatic change. And when that happens, that's typically one of very few times when people really start trying to get their shit together and do better. Plain and simple. After they find out they have extensive responsibility. Or after they find out that they almost could have lost it all. Then they start doing better. But until that, they usually don't. Whew, that was something else. Yeah. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go ahead and wrap things up. I want to start off. I know. We covered an hour and 14 minutes, but we don't have any more comments. Yeah. So here on Sunday nights when we do questions and comments from the fans, once I get through all the comments, we kind of wrap up the show. Over the next hour and a half, I got to get some stuff set up for my next client, and then start packing things up for the rest of the night so that I can still get Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday up there for this week. So, you know, I kind of want to take a little extra time and try to get the rest of this week set up. So now it's a good time for me to spend the next hour, because I have to take my dog out for a walk. And then after that, spend the next hour getting things set up for the week for the show, as well as get my next client set up. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to head out early. Now, before I go, I want to say, ladies, as long as the situation doesn't make sense, I'm going to keep asking ladies to make it make sense. So ladies, please make it make sense. And then fellas, I give y'all this information to help y'all become higher value men. So if you find the things in your life that you would prefer to change and put forth the effort to change that, and recognize the things in your life that you do not have any control over and navigate around that, you will find yourself in a happier life. Ladies, while this is a male-driven podcast from the male's perspective, you can benefit from this as well. You just have to put forth the effort to make certain changes that you know need to be made. Now, with that being said, I want to thank you guys for coming to tonight's show. I'm your host, Xander. Thank you again for coming to This and That, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. And I'll see you guys tomorrow night.
My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. No methodical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield.